You ever have that feeling? You know the one. You're in a packed room or scrolling through your phone, looking at all your friends' posts, but you feel completely and totally alone. It's this weird, heavy feeling that so many of us get, but we just don't talk about it. So, let's get into it. Let's figure out why that happens.
Okay, let's get one thing straight right off the bat. If you feel this way, it absolutely does not mean there's something wrong with you. This is a deeply, profoundly human experience. You're not failing at life for feeling this way. You're just, well, you're human.
So to really get a handle on this, we gotta get a little more specific. Because it turns out loneliness isn't just one big, vague thing. Psychologists actually break it down into two different types. And this difference? It's everything.
Right. So on one side, you've got what's called social loneliness. This is basically a numbers game. It's that feeling of, man, I just don't have enough friends. But the one we're talking about, that lonely in a crowd feeling, that's emotional loneliness. And this one isn't about how many people you know. It's about the quality of those connections. You can be the most popular person in the room and still feel that ache because you don't feel like anyone really sees you.
Think about it this way. You could have a group chat that's just blowing up your phone all day. Memes, inside jokes, weekend plans, it's constant noise. But if nobody in that entire chat ever just stops and asks, hey, how are you really? Well, you can feel completely invisible, even when your phone is buzzing off the hook.
So what's going on here? Why does this seem to be happening more and more? Let's dig into two of the biggest reasons why our connections today can feel so empty.
Okay, the first big reason, it starts inside our own heads. We all know our own reality, right? We know the anxieties, the bad hair days, the doubts, the messy, unfiltered version of our lives.
And then, what do? We pull out our phones, and we compare our messy, behind-the-scenes footage to everyone else's perfectly edited highlight reel. We see the amazing vacations, the perfect relationships, the big wins, and our brain just sees this massive gap and thinks, wow, I am really falling behind.
And that constant comparison, it has a real cost. It makes you feel like you're not where you're supposed to be. It can even make you feel guilty, like, I have friends, I should be happy, which, just makes you feel even worse. And maybe the biggest cost, it stops us from reaching out. Because who wants to be the needy one when everyone else seems so perfect?
The second big drain on our social health is the kind of relationships we're having. We can be surrounded by what I call surface-level relationships. These are conversations that feel busy, they feel full, but they're emotionally leaky. They don't actually fill you up because they dodge all the important stuff, the vulnerability, the heavy topics, the real talk. It's like we're just performing the idea of friendship instead of actually living it. I love this metaphor for it. It's like your brain is trying to survive on social snacks. A quick like, a funny comment, a brief, how's it going? They give you a little boost for a second. But you can't live on snacks. Your brain, your soul, whatever you want to call it, it needs a real meal, a deep, honest-to-goodness conversation. Without that, you're always going to feel hungry. Okay, so that's the problem. But here's where we make a really important shift. What if this feeling of loneliness isn't actually a flaw? What if it isn't something to be ashamed of? What if it's a signal? Yeah, let's totally redefine this. Think of loneliness as your mind's alarm system. It's not a bug, it's a feature. Just like physical pain tells you, hey, maybe don't touch that hot stove, loneliness is your brain's way of saying, hey, something's out of balance here. The deep connection you need on the inside isn't matching what you're getting on the outside. It's not a weakness, it's just data.
So what is this alarm trying to tell you? Well, usually it's sending a few key signals. First, it's a sign that you actually care about connection. The fact that you feel this proves you value something deep. Second, it's a mismatch signal. It's saying your environment is kind of shallow, but your needs are deep. And third, it can be a sign that you don't feel safe. Your brain might be protecting your real, authentic self because it doesn't trust that the people around you can handle it. All right, so now that we're looking at this feeling in a new light, let's talk about what to actually do. I want to leave you with a simple, low-pressure idea. Let's call it a curiosity challenge. This isn't about fixing your whole life. It's just about taking one tiny step.
So the first step is just to notice. Get curious, no judgment, okay? Just ask yourself, where does this feeling show up for me? When do I feel it the most? Is it with a specific group of friends? When I'm on Instagram? Just paying attention is a huge, huge first step.
And after you've noticed, just pick one of these. Seriously, just one. This isn't about a massive overhaul. Maybe it's just texting one person you trust and being a tiny bit more honest. Or maybe it's consciously deciding, I'm putting my phone down for 10 minutes. Or you could be the one to create that space for someone else. Ask someone how they really are, and then just listen.
So I want to leave you with this final thought. What if feeling lonely in a crowd isn't a problem to be solved? What if it's a sign that you've outgrown the shallow end of the pool and you're ready for something deeper? What if this feeling isn't a weakness at all, but the very first step in finding where you truly belong?